Hi there, welcome to Transcone Trail Sales. Today we'll be walking you through your 2025 Wildwood 28View. We are just going to start off with the back unit. If you notice up top, you are pre-wired for an observation camera, as well as a liquid collapsible stair system, so you can get up and check all your seals periodically and give those solar panels a quick wipe. If you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact our parts department, and they can put together a quote for you. You got your spare tire located right at the back here. And then if you do notice, you got your fresh water drain sticker. Probably the easiest spot to get to it, pulling that guy. It's gonna drain all the water out of your fresh tank. Coming around the top of the side of the unit, just giving that bumper cap a pull. It's gonna come right off. You can do the same thing on the other side. It's gonna be where you wanna store your sewer hose after your first use. It's the best spot to keep it, just keeps all the smell out of the unit. Put the bumper cap back into place, you just gotta give it a little bit of a tap. It does press back in. Get your coax cable right here. A little bit further ahead. You got your main power cord inlet. Pulling that guy out. It's a 50 amp service. You're taking note of that silver strip here. It lines up with this silver strip on this guy. Pushing that into place. 8th turn to lock it in. Threaded collar to really lock it down. If you follow the cord back, you do get your standard 50 amp plug end. Now, a lot of campsites may not have this, so we do include this 30 amp dog bone adapter. Just keep in mind, if you are running that 30 amp adapter, you can't run 2 air conditioners at once. You realistically are just running 1 air conditioner at once. And then we do also include a 15 amp park adapter to go down from that 30. But if you're going down to that with a trailer this size, it's really just to run your lights and your fridge. That's really about it. Got your main water inlets, as well as a couple more cable satellite inlets. Got your city water connection, so if you're at a site with service, thread a garden hose in there, turn it on. It's going to pressurize all those lines without you needing to run your water pump. Got your black tank flush, making sure you read that caution sticker. It's just stating whenever you're using it. If you're pushing pressure inside of that tank and you don't have the valve open and the sewer connected, it could expand that tank to the point of cracking. So just keep that in mind whenever you're using it. And then down below, this guy out of the way for you. You got a few different valves here. You're gonna see this last cap here, pulling and twisting it off. You got your 2 ears. This is the pre-plumbing spot for the washer dryer combo. If you'd like to get set up with that, again, just contact your parts department. But if you were to get set up with that, you'd always have to have this cap off whenever you're running your washer. Failure to do so would allow the water to back up into the trailer. Next, you got your low point drains. You got a black, cold and a hot. So if you don't want water going stale or stagnant, you can just crack these guys open. It's going to drain all those lines. And then, of course, during winterization, once you're all finished cracking those guys open, it's just going to drain that little bit of antifreeze out of there. Your main sewer outlet is right here. You're going to have a few different valves here. You got your black valve, so this is going to be the main black valve. And then you got this secondary black valve for some reason. So you're going to have to open up both of those, but you are going to want to empty those last. You got your gray and your galley. Your galley is going to be filled from your kitchen sink. Your gray is going to be filled from your sink and your shower inside the bathroom. Whenever you empty your gray, you have to make sure you have this main valve open. And you're always emptying your blacks first and your grays last. Just helps keep the hose that little bit cleaner. Coming a little bit ahead, you got your furnace exhaust. Whenever that's on, it's going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. And then you do get to your hot water service port. So a couple things I'm going to go over. If you've had a trailer before and you did the winterizing yourself, you're probably going to remember bypass valves. For this system, you don't have any bypass valves because you do run antifreeze through this system. Of course, with it being off, main power switch is right here. That does supply power to the thermostat inside. Whenever you're done your winterization process completely, just cracking that pressure relief valve and leaving it cracked open for the duration of winter. Around the front of the unit, you got your battery box located right at the front. Then you do your battery disconnect with it in the on position like it is now. The batteries are connected to the unit. If you were to turn that to the off position and pull it out, the batteries would become disconnected from the unit. Up at the front, 2 propane tanks. Usually you can get what you need done by loosening off these tabs, opening up the flap. But for the purpose of the video, I'm going to pull it right out of place. standard barbecue style propane tanks. You got your regulator located right at the front. With it pointed this way, you're obviously going to be drawing off this tank. If this tank were to go empty, you can close it, flip it over to the other side, and start drawing off this tank. Whenever you get that green on there, it's telling you you've got propane flowing through. You got your manual override right at the top for your front tongue jack. In case that were to fail for whatever reason, light switch, and then of course up and down. Now around this side, flipping this guy open. It's your storage compartment. Of course, whenever you're using it, just be mindful that is your ram for your VersaTilt bed up there, so you're not going to want to be blocking that in any sort of way. Then up on the wall, you got your manual override for your front tongue jack, and then this is going to be the manual override for your stabilizer jacks in case those were to fail for whatever reason. You also got a little light switch on the side here. It turns on some accent lighting all down the unit. Nice little feature. Spice up your campsite a little bit. You do get your standard starter kit. That's where that sewer hose is located. You also get a 15-foot water hose, the 15-amp park adapter, and some other miscellaneous goodies. Dry erase surface. Nice thing this came with. You got your control for your stabilizer jack. The way those works is you're going to push the extend button. The feet are going to start making their way down to the ground. It's on an open gear system, so sometimes they will make their way down at different places. So don't panic if it starts happening, just keep holding the button. And once the feet contact the ground and you hear the motors wind up a little bit, you can let off because they are stabilizing jacks, they're not leveling jacks. So you're going to see those feet start making their way down. Sometimes you just want to adjust the feet a little bit so they sit nice and level. And you heard that wind up, so that's going to be at your full extension, and then you can retract them, and it's pretty much just letting them contact the bottom of the trailer and letting off the button. Now, coming a little bit further down the unit, you got your main entry bay door, which I'll go over in a minute once we take a step on the side. You got a pre-mounted little TV spot here in case you want to mount an exterior TV, and then of course you got a couple outlets down below, and then a cable satellite outlet too. And right at the back is your fresh water fill. Keeping that off. If you're out boondocking, your site doesn't have water, you put your garden hose in there, turn it on, it's going to fill that fresh tank, and that's what your water pump draws off. This is going to be the control for your rear stabilizer jack, but it's the same way as the one in the front. Now, the best part, take a step on inside, put that door handle, open it up. Open up that door all the way so you can pull down your stairs, pulling that lever, open towards you. You got adjustable camp feet, so you have nice and level stairs for your campsite. First thing you notice off on your left is going to be that fire extinguisher. It's pretty much just like home. Shoot. Up on the wall here, you got that light switch. It is on a dimmer, so you can dim or brighten them. And then up on top is some more lighting. You got some accent lighting on the slide outs, and then some awning LED lights outside. And then you got your monitor panel system up top. Fresh battery, black 1, black 2. Black 2 isn't hooked up to anything. You have a gray and a galley though. Pushing them just gives you the corresponding levels up top. Next you got your slide out switch, pushing and holding that out. Slide out's going to start making its way out. You're always making sure you know what's on either side of the slide before you operate it. That way you're not damaging anything. Sometimes the things do tend to shift during travel. Once the slide out winds up and clicks, you can let off, just like so. Next, you got your awning control, pushing and holding that out button. The awning's going to start making its way out. Once that's at its full extension, you're going to see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. Sometimes that little flap can get stuck, so if it does, just retract it a little bit and try rolling it back out. It should come down. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be able to get the awning fully extended, so that's about all we're going to go out today. But if we were to start, we're going to take any arm front or rear, pull down at the center. It's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to now run off. I feel like that angle better because it allows for more shade underneath. You do the same thing with the rear arm. Just making sure you do push them both back straight before you bring it in. That way you don't damage anything. And bringing it in is as simple as pushing the in button on. It's going to start rolling in, and once the arms contact the side of the trailer, the motor is going to cut out. If you do roll it in while it's wet, just keep in mind you got to roll it out at your next most convenient time. That way it's not accelerating the growth of mold or mildew. You got your JBL sound system right down below. Hook it up to your phone, run it off those speakers inside and out. You got your solar controller. So it gets pretty in depth with the settings. There's lots you can go and fool around with. I'm going to recommend going over the owner's manual for that, but we do have it currently set up for your basic charging needs. If there's sun outside and hitting that panel, it's going to be applying a charge to the battery up front. We're going to take a step on into the bedroom first. Light switch is on the left. Got your VersaTilt bed control, so obviously if you push it up, it's going to go up. If you push it down, it's going to go down. On both sides of the beds, you do have plugins. Of course, storage all around. Whenever you're using the storage in this unit, always being mindful of drains, water lines, and wiring. And all the blinds in the unit do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them. One quick pull to retract them back up. This is going to be the fire exit for the bedroom. You're just having to lift up that screen or window, lock it into place, and then you can come behind it with the screen and hop on out. Get it down, just releasing the tabs, sliding it both down and locking it into place. Nice little closet space. Now that is where you're pre-plumbed for your washer dryer combo. And keeping in mind, even though you don't have the washer dryer combo, when it comes time to winterization, you do have to make sure you winterize those lines. So just keep that in mind if you're doing it yourself. TV backer. If you want to mount a TV, it's the best place to do it. You got your coax outlets right next to it. It's this little black button. Turning that on does turn power on to the antenna on the roof. Now it's also going to improve your radio frequency and cell phone frequency. So I recommend always turning it on when you get to your campsite, but whenever you're not using it, turning it off. That way you're not drawing any battery power. Got your thermostat on the wall. This is going to be the thermostat, the main thermostat. Push it twice to get into your fan options. I'm going to go over the fan first. You got high or low. That's just moving air around with the air conditioner. No heating or cooling involved. Next, go over to the cool. Push enter. Now you're going to notice it says auto. You can turn it off of auto and run it on either high or low. But having it on auto means it's going to be an on-demand system. Turning this knob changes your set temperature. So for example, to explain that, if the room is at, once it clicks off, the room's at 27 degrees Celsius, we have it set to 18. So once this thermostat senses the room's at 18, it's going to cut out the air conditioner, but if you have it on high or low, it's going to run full time regardless. Next, over to the heat option, hit yes. It's going to kill, it would have killed the air conditioner and fired up the furnace. The air conditioner moves all its air through the ceiling ducting we have throughout, and typically you can move these louvers, but on this one they are fixed. They're glued shut. Don't try and open them, because if you do, you are probably going to break them, because it is equipped with a high airflow air conditioner. Furnace moves all its air through the floor portals, and the furnace does only have one fan speed. Last little cool feature for the air conditioner, for the thermostat they included, they got a cool plus heat option. So depending on what you have your room set to, it's going to decide on what it fires up. And then just cycling it back off to the off position. Next, we're just going to take a step on into the, sorry, actually I did forget. Last but not least, in the bedroom. So that's going to be where your main fuse and breaker panel is. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. All your corresponding fuses are on the right. Whenever one does pop, there should be a little red indicator light letting you know which one's gone. You got your bathroom. Light switch on the left. Also a nice little accent light behind the mirror. Hot and cold water at the tap. Main GFI plug on the wall here. Reset in the middle, test on the bottom. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I would look. Then you got your thermostat for your water heater, power button to turn it on, up or down at any time to change your set temperature, Celsius and Fahrenheit, with the press of a button. And with your temperature, you're set to 50. If you ever drop it below 50 degrees Celsius, it's going to be locked there just as an added safety feature so kids can't scald their hands. If you want to bump it up another 5 degrees, you could do so. You just have to hold that up button for 5 seconds and it does unlock it. But of course, if you have kids, make sure you turn it back down. Up on the roof here, counterclockwise for your vent lid. Allow that to open that up. Once you're open here, you're going to notice we do open up straight into the atmosphere. So if it were to start raining, it is going to get wet inside here, unless of course you went with a max air cover. It's a vent that goes over top of this. It's going to allow that vent to be open while raining and not get wet inside here. It's a great little addition you can get set up in your camper just by contacting our parts department, and they'll put together a quote for you. Travel strap, making sure you do latch this door whenever you're moving. If you don't, you're going to see it does move freely, so if you're traveling, it can cause some damage. Coming into the kitchen area. So the first thermostat I showed you was for that front air conditioner. Now you got your rear air conditioner thermostat. It's going to work the exact same way as the front one. Light switch turns on to an accent lighting right above the island. Now right down below, because you're equipped with propane, you got your LP detector right here near the ground. If this guy ever starts going off, don't panic. Just turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit. Open up some windows and vents to get some fresh oxygen inside here. And if you're ever cleaning around it, it's very sensitive to cleaning chemicals, so use your best judgment. Typically it could be that. Got your fridge here, opening that up, fridge freezer combo. Controls for both are just right down below here. Clockwise all the way is going to be its coldest setting. Anywhere before that is a warmer setting. The off-grid rating, just letting you know the most energy efficient setting to run it on whenever you're on battery power. We've got a charcoal filter in the top left corner just to help with any fridge odors. We do sell replacement ones here at the shop again, so if you'd like to get set up with that, just contact your parts department and they can order in a couple for you. Got your sink with hot and cold water. Now coming to this area here, whenever you're running your stove, I always recommend running your range hood. That way you're evacuating most of those propane fumes. Whenever you've turned the propane system off on this unit and it's been a while, it allows air into the system. So I always recommend going to fire up your stove first thing once you get to your campsite. The reason I say that, if you go to fire up your water heater or your furnace before you've purged the propane through, the water heater and the furnace only try lighting themselves a few times before they throw a fault code, which could cause you some frustration if you don't know what it's for. Just flipping that guy open to get it to light, pushing the knob in, turning it over. I'm going to see it's not going to light right away. You just got to give it a few seconds. Just making sure you are hitting that knob. The sparker knob, which you don't want to build up of gases. Like I said, this is what I mean by making sure you just purge all the propane out. You just got to be patient with it. Sometimes you can light two at the same time. And there you go. It does light up, so that's what I meant by purging all the air out. So that's why I always recommend running this first, because it just makes things that much easier. Once that's done, you can just turn it off and continue on. Getting the oven to light could be even a little more finicky because the gas orifice is so much smaller, but it works the same way, except you're holding it on the pilot option. And like I said, whenever you do have the gas open, always making sure you're hitting the igniter every few seconds. That way you don't have any buildup of gases and some minor combustion. We all like to keep our eyebrows and eyelashes, I'm sure. There you go. Just pushing and holding that in for another few seconds till the pilot can hold its own. Once you let off that button, you turn it up to your desired temperature and it does fire right on up. Again, tons of storage throughout, and you do also have lots of accent lighting on its own center push buttons. Whenever you are using the storage, making sure you're mindful, drains, water lines, and that kind of thing. For the island, you're going to notice you got these nice little bar stools. You're going to see travel straps because you don't want them to shift. This one here isn't hooked into a travel strap because if you put it over here and close the slide, it is going to bend the chair and break it. Our salesman's already managed to wreck one, so let's not try and wreck another. Just making sure you have it out of the way of the slide out when you go to bring it in. That way you don't damage anything. You got your Versa Lounge over here. Nice little couch area. You get access to your water pump by opening this guy up, sliding this bin out of the way, which comes included. Nice little feature they did. You're going to see a hose laying on the floor. If you pick up that hose, that's going to be what you stick into your jug of antifreeze. If you follow the hose back, it's going to lead you to the bypass valve, the water pump, and that's how you do that for winter elevation. That is going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.